Hello everyone. We continue our videos where we tell about the Fethullahist terrorist organization and its dirty face. This week, I will tell you about the account of Paradise World Enes Halifekan, which became an agenda on social media on May 2023. If you are ready, here we go. 7 years after the July 15 coup attempt, Turkey is once again confronted with the dirty face of the Fethullahist terrorist organization. Senet Dünya Enes Halifekan account was opened on February 27, 2016. On April 15, 2017, the last post was made from the account and no post has been made since then. The account is quite interesting. 160,000 tweets were sent during this period. In other words, between February 2016 and April 15, 2017, 160,000 tweets were sent from the account. Among these tweets, there are quite absurd tweets. Among these tweets, there are posts that make no sense or are thought to make no sense. However, there are references to Turkey's recent history, especially the events that took place between 2016 and 2017, and some events that affect our political agenda today. Let us briefly recall these. There were many tweets about the Congress process in the Nationalist Movement Party. There was support for Meral Akşener at that time. There are posts that the MHP will change again with the Congress process. During the July 15 coup attempt, there are some posts containing instructions to putschist soldiers, shoot AK party organizations, raid AK party NGOs, kill AK parties, helicopters take off. More precisely, let the birds take off from the Pendik side. Kill everyone who comes in front of you, don't hold back. There are some posts saying that if you retreat, the nation will die. On this account, there are posts about attacking the wedding convoy before the wedding attack in Gaziantep. 5 days before the terrorist attack in Vodafone Park in Beşiktaş, there were posts targeting Vodafone Park in Beşiktaş and Beşiktaş people. Likewise, before the martyrdom of Eren Bülbül in Trabzon, there are posts saying that I invite the PKK in Trabzon. And since yesterday, dozens of accounts, especially FETÖ realities, have recirculated the posts of Senet Dünya Enes Halifekan account. And there have been some posts by this account reminding us again how we have been dealing with the danger of the FETÖ cook terrorist organization in recent history. First of all, who is this account? What kind of account is this account? We are talking about a Twitter account with 160,000 posts. And is the name Samet in this account a FETÖ member named Samet, one of the secret imams of the FETÖ chef terrorist organization, one of FETÖ's secret imams in the police academy? Or is it an account used by Adil Uksus, FETÖ's secret imam in the Turkish Armed Forces, the Turkish Armed Forces imam who carried out the July 15 coup attempt? Or is it, as some claim, a Twitter transcript of the Baylock correspondence? Let us try to answer all of these briefly. First of all, the posts on this account are not the transcripts of Baylock correspondence. This is because the FETÖ chef terrorist organization stopped using Baylock in February. Realizing that the National Intelligence Organization had accessed Baylock's servers, FETÖ members stopped using Baylock in February and used new communication programs. Among these, they used quite different communication methods such as encrypted communication programs, Coco, Talk, and similar applications, some internet-based communication programs, communication via websites, communication via SMS, and communication via the anchor phones they used to use in the past. So the tweets posted on this account cannot be a transcript of Baylock correspondence because it is talking about the current situation. During the July 15 coup attempt, FETÖ members were not using Baylock. FETÖ members were not using Baylock during the July 15 coup attempt. During the terrorist attack at the Beşiktaş arena, FETÖ members were not using Baylock. Therefore, it is unlikely that the current tweets posted on this account are transcripts of Baylock correspondence. So, what are the tweets posted on this account? First of all, this account has a user. It has an active user. How do we know? When this account was brought up before, it automatically blocked some people who unfollowed some dictionaries. In other words, there is a user who controls the followers, who controls who the followers are. We are not talking about a bot account. But does this user, this person who knows the passwords of the account, send all the tweets? This is also not possible. because we are talking about 160,000 tweets. He has to send an average of 15 or 16 tweets every hour so that he can send 160,000 tweets between February 2016 and April 2017 in this 1 year period. So what is this Sened Dunya Enes Halifekan account? What do the posts on this account tell us? Let's look at this briefly. First of all, we know that there is a user of this account and a user who controls the followers of this account, because when it came to what he said before, this account automatically blocked those who unfollowed the account. There is someone who controls who follows and who unfollows. But we also said that it is not possible for a single person to post these tweets because he has to post 15 or 16 tweets every hour, every day. So how can we certify the 160,000 tweets posted on this account? First of all, he was involved in current affairs. For example, after Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu's live broadcast on 2017, the account praised Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu. There are posts such as Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu is a man of valor. He is our brother. After Ahmet Davutoğlu's resignation, the account posted that Turkey entered into coup practice and that there was an expectation of a coup in Turkey after the July 15 coup attempt. Moreover, when we look at the account's writings, we see that the tweets were not posted by a single person. The account is most likely a Twitter transcript of a communication program used by FETÖ members after the bylog. Because there are many different accounts, and as soon as the account realizes that it has been deciphered, it starts using the term FETÖ. As a result of FETÖ's principle of pretense, we know that after the July 15 coup attempt, some FETÖ members took to the streets and had their photos taken to show that they were against the coup. FETÖ members have this characteristic because they have instructions from FETÖ themselves to swear at me and my mother if necessary. This account follows current affairs, but it is not the work of a single person. Because we see things written by dozens of different people in a group post on a Twitter account, sometimes there are coordinates in these, sometimes there are very abusive correspondences that have nothing to do with anything. This makes us think that FETÖ is trying to create a distraction for the people who will examine the account by creating the impression that this account is the account of a crazy person and we don't need to take it seriously. This is because after the bylog was deciphered, FETÖ operatives used Morbain apps to get thousands of people to send signals to bylog servers, such as prayer apps, Qibla finding apps, music download apps, etc., and then advertised these apps in dictionaries so that people who downloaded these programs would send signals to the bylog so that in the event of a bylog operation, hundreds of thousands of people would be claimed to be using bylog and the investigation would automatically collapse. However, after a while, since the bylog users and those who sent signals to the bylog server were differentiated and the criteria of using the program actively at least 3 times was introduced, this game also came to naught. In fact, you opened the bylog to the public with the declaration of FETÖ members, the private imams of the members of the terrorist organization. Therefore, this was actually a narrow application. It was an application used by intimate structures, used by intimate imams. There are some statements that you ordered all members of the organization to use it and you threw everyone into the fire. One of these is Halit Esender's statement. It is a mistake to use bylog. For example, spreading bylog to the public is a mistake.
Writing such a special program, it is not the right thing to prepare to do in the first place. The truth of the matter is this.
Likewise, in order to prevent a possible trace in this program, some very different, seemingly meaningless posts were also made. However, since we know the Fethullah is terrorist organization and Fethu Ailebash's interest in speaking in code, we do not rule out the possibility that all the posts made on this account were made with a coding method. Because Fethu Ailebaşı even wrote an internal orientation book called Kevzer in the 1999-190s to show the members of the organization how to speak in code and what to do within the organization. Later, because they predicted that the circulation of this book would lead to Fethu being defined as a terrorist organization and even an intelligence organization, they took this book off the market. This book contains Fateh's dictionaries. In other words, there are explanations of what Fethu actually means when they say a word. Fethu uses the encryption method a lot in his conversations, in his correspondence, in the correspondence within the organization and in his own discourses, and he punishes those who do not apply this measure within the organization. So why did this account suddenly appear on Turkey's agenda? Because the account also includes the Congress conspiracy against the Nationalist Movement Party. Let's remember that the Fethubaş terrorist organization, which tried to take over the MHP, tried to oust Devlet Bahçelik as the chairman of the MHP through Meral Akşener and other names. At that time, the MHP congresses were on the agenda with court decisions or decisions cancelling the congresses, as the Germenek court did. The Fethubaş terrorist organization, which is trying to design politics in Turkey, wanted to make the person they wanted to be the chairman of the Nationalist Movement Party, just as they designed the Republican People's Party, just as Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu replaced Deniz Baykal. This account confirms this once again, but we don't actually learn this with this account. Koray Aydın, who is now the deputy chairman of the IYI party, who is the head of the organization, who is one of the few strongest elections in the IYI party, had already announced that Meral Akşener was supported by the Fethullahists in the live broadcast he personally attended at that time.
The fact that the people living in those provinces who are members of a congregation are united on this single candidate, and that there is intense interest and organizations in her rallies and meetings, shows that this kind of perception is concentrated on Ms. Meral.
He had announced that the campaign against Meral Akşener was being carried out by the Fethihists from district to district in the province. Shortly after making that statement, Koray Aydın left the MHP and joined the IYI party. Likewise, Erhan Usta, who was the deputy group chairman of the Nationalist Movement Party, resigned from the MHP and joined the IYI party after he announced that the IYI party was supported by the fighters. In other words, we did not actually learn about the support for Meral Akşener from the heaven and earth account. What we personally experienced at that time, and even workers such as Koray Aydın and Erhan Usta, who are now active in the IYI party, announced it themselves. However, because we have forgotten this, or rather because we have been made to forget this, because it is wanted to be forgotten, because some people in Turkey define talking about the Fethullahist terrorist organization as speaking with the mouth of the government, which happened recently on Hak TV, the channel of the Republican People's Party. The guest on Hak TV himself said, "I don't like to use the term FETÖ, this is government speak, do I have to use it?" The Fethullahist terrorist organization, which martyred 252 of our citizens in the July 15 coup attempt, was wanted to be exonerated 7 years later on channels belonging to the opposition in Turkey. That this account is taken so seriously stems from the fact that some people in Turkey have forgotten the FETÖ issue. Otherwise, we went through this. We read the Congress process of the Nationalist Movement Party. We read Abdullah Bozkurt's article in Sweden before the assassination of Andrei Karlov that there would be assassinations of ambassadors in Turkey. In other words, we don't need a heaven and earth account to understand that the Fethullahist terrorist organization killed the Russian ambassador. But because someone in Turkey insistently made people forget FETÖ, because someone in Turkey claimed that the members of the Fethullahist terrorist organization were oppressed and victimized, this account on social media attracted people's attention again, and some people actually refreshed their memory about the posts made by this account. It was a slap in the face of those who want to forget FETÖ, who want to make people forget that Turkey is struggling with a danger like the Fethullahist terrorist organization. And after this account was shared, some people made videos saying that the tweets sent by this account are new. Brother, look, we are changing the time on the computer. We can send old dated tweets. Well, there are threads opened against this account in Elçi Sözlük and Uludağ Sözlük, and these are not. In fact, there are some users on social media who have previously posted about the post of the Senet Dünya account. And these users took the caps of the previous posts of this account and shared them. Did these people just post those tweets from 2018? Or was Elçi Sözlük, which is clearly opposition to the government, under the control of the government at the time and is now posting backdated headlines? No, this account was actively used. This account was actively used. There are dozens of accounts like the Senet Dünya account, which was used by FETÖ members as a communication tool and an archive tool waiting to be uncovered in the dark recesses of Twitter. The question may arise here as to how they can do this in front of our eyes. I mean, if FETÖ members are so keen on caution, if they are so keen on control, why did they share this on Twitter? Because right after the July 15 coup attempt in Turkey, there was a main opposition party leader who claimed that the coup was a controlled coup, because that main opposition party leader claimed that the number one of the July 15 coup attempt was an agent of the National Intelligence Organization. In Turkey, opposing FETÖ or embracing FETÖ was shown as a political stance. Turkey has developed a politics based on a terrorist organization that does not exist anywhere else in the world. For this, FETÖ members did not even bother to delete their posts on that account. Why would they bother? Today, Idris Şahin, who was elected as an MP from the Republican People's Party, used the term FETÖ's community instead of FETÖ's terrorist organization in the year 2022. In such an environment, there is no reason for terrorists to take precautions. However, the following possibility should be taken into consideration. We know that only one person does not have the password to such accounts used by members of the FETÖ terrorist organization. These accounts are controlled by at least 3 people. Because according to Önder Aytaş's own statement, there were accounts that 3 or 4 of us used in common. The fact that some FETÖ accounts were shared after their users were arrested also supports this. It is possible that the person in charge of controlling the password of this account, i.e., its followers, may be arrested. Because in 2018, only 54 people were following this account. Now it has more than 10,000. Maybe when this video is published, it will have 20,000 followers. The account was followed by 40 to 50 people at the time it was shared. Therefore, it is quite normal that it did not attract people's attention at that time. Let's summarize what we have told so far. The account does not tell us anything we do not know. I am saying that FETÖ members were active during the July 15 coup attempt, that FETÖ members were aware of terrorist acts in Turkey and informed their members that they were involved in some operational activities, that they hated President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and Devlet Bahçeli, the chairman of the Nationalist Movement Party, and made preparations to eliminate them but failed, and that after the July 15 coup attempt they carried out other coup activities but failed. How do we know that FETÖ members attempted other coups after the July 15 coup attempt? We know from the parliamentary group meeting of Devlet Bahçeli, the chairman of the Nationalist Movement Party. He made statements starting with, "Do not attempt a coup if you attempt a coup." There are statements made by the ministers of Interior at the time and President Erdogan at the time. There are some security measures taken, and at that time, what is the need for such things on social media or in the opposition media? You are exaggerating. We see again that some of the statements saying that you are in paranoia are from some coup activities at that time. Actually, the account does not tell us anything we do not know. FETÖ is an open terrorist organization, a terrorist organization that aims at Turkey's unity, Turkey's independence, and this terrorist organization tried to achieve its goal by designing politics, designing opposition parties, exerting pressure on the government, trying to change the government, committing terrorist acts in Turkey, and committing dirty tricks in Turkey. This account tells us that the FETÖ terrorist organization is not only a terrorist organization, but also an intelligence organization, an espionage organization, and that its members are trained like spies. We know this from the fact that FETÖ prisoners arrested after the July 15 coup attempt communicated in prison by tapping the iron bars with Morse code. We know this from the FETÖ ringleader's own speech, sending messages in Morse code. And this account actually shows us this. Turkey was saved from the danger of FETÖ thanks to the decisive stance of President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. We are not just learning this. Former Chief of General Staff İlker Başbuğ made a statement. Recep Tayyip Erdogan fought against FETÖ all by himself. Cennet Dünya account reminded those who want to forget how dangerous FETÖ is, the danger of FETÖ, the dirty deeds of FETÖ, and the crimes FETÖ is involved in. We will continue to explain the dirty face of FETÖ's terrorist organization, the conspiracies the organization is involved in, the crimes committed by the organization's political connections, and its social media operations. Before we finish our video, let us remind again that the May elections in Turkey will not only be a presidential election, but also 2 names that fight against FETÖ and 2 names that do not fight against FETÖ, and that we will not only approve the presidency of Turkey, but also whether Turkey will be independent or not, and whether Turkey will fight against terrorist organizations or not. We will continue to tell the dirty face of the FETÖ-linked terrorist organization and the realities of FETÖ. To support us, don't forget to like our video, subscribe to our channel, turn on your notifications for new videos, and share this video on your social media accounts. Thank you for your support.